Welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. At this time of year, the 10-day trends can be pretty juicy. Possibility of snow, the hints at storms on the way. This isn't one of those juicy 10-day trends. It's more subtle. Variations on a theme, and that theme is definitely high pressure, which will bring a lot of dry weather across the UK for the next week or so. There will be interesting facets to the weather, particularly close to the surface. Some thick fog and some frosts likely, certainly across parts of the south over the next couple of days. And, well, next week there is the possibility of some colder air, but it's just a possibility at this stage, and at the moment it doesn't look like it's going to stick around too long either, as we will see in a moment. But high pressure is definitely the main theme, and this chart shows that clearly. A lot of red on the chart. We've shown these before, the probabilistic pressure trend. This is from the European model, the ECMWF model. Dates going forward along the top, previous computer model runs going down the side. Red is high pressure, and so as you can see, a lot of high pressure expected in the forecast. And here is that high, or at least the initial high, sitting across England and Wales at the start of the period. Notice quite a few isobars across the north. It is quite windy, and that will continue for the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the winds high up in the atmosphere, though. This is the jet stream, a really active jet stream, but well to the north. Some dark colours there in the core, some very strong winds. But notice the jet stream actually kind of doubles back on itself, and this suggesting that high pressure is dominating, not just at the surface, but high up in the atmosphere as well. So we've got a high pressure system all the way through, which is why it's so hard to shift. Now, we will see a subtle movement in the pattern as we go through Thursday and Friday. The jet stream topples a little bit like so, and the high pressure as a result starts to shrink away to the near continent. But it continues to dominate across the south in particular, and it's in here, close to the high, where the winds will be light at night. Clear skies allowing the frost and some dense patches of fog to form. Further north, we'll see more of a breeze and more cloud, and so it won't be quite as cold at night here, but it won't be quite as sunny by day. So a bit of a north-south split through Thursday and Friday. Across the south, some dense patches of fog likely, frosty mornings, and something we haven't seen too much of so far this winter, sunny skies by day, assuming the fog clears, of course. Further north, there'll be some sunny spells, particularly in the east, but often quite a lot of cloud coming in on that westerly breeze, and a little patchy rain in places from weak weather fronts that are bumping up against that area of high pressure. But the high pressure is always going to win. Those weather fronts are pretty feeble affairs. Now, the high pressure does eventually slink away. We saw that trend through Thursday and Friday. That continues into the weekend, and it does allow this weather system to move across the country during the weekend. So it's not completely dry. This weather front will bring some showers, particularly to the northwest, more likely late on Saturday. And then as it crosses the country, a bit of patchy rain on Saturday night, and maybe early on Sunday morning across the southeast. But it scoots out of the way, and a new fresh area of high pressure moves in quickly behind it, and this one will dominate for a good part of next week. Why is this happening? Well, if we take a look at the bigger picture, and again, the jet stream is back in that position way up to the north. We have this repeating, waving, highly amplified pattern right around the globe at the moment, and we are under one of those waves, and that's why high pressure continues to dominate across the UK. But a subtle shift in that position of the high will dictate where we see the frost, where we see the fog as we go into next week, and where we have still quite a few isobars across the country helping to prevent that fog and frost. So the devil will be in the detail through next week, but high pressure is likely to keep things in control. And we saw this at the start. Again, a strong signal for that high pressure to dictate our weather, bringing a lot of dry conditions through next week. But as I said, the position of the high is crucial to the type of flavour of weather that we will see, whether we'll see northerly winds or southerly winds. Now, when we run the computer model, there's less of a signal when we look at what's more likely, northerly winds or southerly winds. Northerly winds are blue and southerly winds are red. And you can see as we go into next week, there's a fairly weak signal there. That could suggest the high pressure is going to sit right across us, so there won't be either. But it could also suggest that the computer models are undecided about exactly where the high will sit. Now, one of the more recent European computer model runs from the ECMWF actually had the high come next Thursday up to the northwest. And in this position, the wind's toppling around the high like that, it would allow, at least for a time, some colder air to push in across the UK. So that could bring a cold spell, at least for a time, towards the back end of next week. But that's just the deterministic model run. That's just when we run it once, the main computer model run. But of course, when we're looking at longer range forecasts, we run the computer model several times, and that's shown here with these postage stamp graphics. Now, you probably can't see too much detail on those, but when we run the computer model 50 times, only a handful of them are showing that colder air coming in across the UK. So at the moment, it's just a possibility, and a more likely scenario is that we don't really see much cold air through next week. We just continue with the high pressure in control. So that's the main theme, high pressure continuing to bring largely dry weather. The details for the position of the high and therefore where we see fog and frost, well, we'll have to update that closer to the time. And the best way for you to keep up to date, of course, is to follow the Met Office across social media.